Welcome everybody, where I think we're going to start the program here. My name is Chris Tolbert and I'm a St. Paul City Council member for this neighborhood, as well as the chair of the St. Paul Public Library Board. It is a great honor and I am so ecstatic to be up here today. As many people know, we've been without a library here in our neighborhood for about a year. So this is a very, very exciting time that we can finally check out books, we can finally come down to our library again. So let's get a round of applause to this beautiful library. It's interesting here because I see so many generations of St. Paul, Highland Park, and McAllister Groveland people. For me, this is a library that has a lot of special meaning. Just back there, you wouldn't even know, but there used to be in the back corner, there used to be the checkout desk, and that's where you got your library cards. That's actually where I got my first St. Paul Public Library card when I was a young kid. And I look down at all these kids in the front, and I think, I don't know what rules your parents had for you, but my mom had a rule that I could not get my own personal library card until I could print my name. So like most kids, I worked on that quite a bit. I actually found that little card a couple years back, and like most kids who have an S in their name, once in a while you get it backwards, including my first library card. So this library has so much meaning for me, it has so much meaning for so many people. As chair of the library board, I've had the opportunity to go around and visit so many different libraries across the entire city, and it's been beautiful. All ages, all generations, all people use our libraries. Whether it's watching kids, 2 or 3 year olds, sit on their mothers' and fathers' laps as a librarian reads about a panda going to sleep, whether it's walking through the aisles and seeing a young kid and looking over at a teenager at what book they're reading and realizing that they're following in a tradition of finding out who J.D. Salinger was, reading their first book. Or if it's looking at a burly kind of construction looking guy sitting at a library typing on a computer as an 80-pound librarian stands behind him and helps him finish his resume. Or, as this library, one of the stories that I found that's great, is a young woman and her grandmother who come up here every summer, every day, spend their entire morning reading books, checking out books, exploring the world and exploring knowledge, and then together they have lunch on a picnic table outside. It's really those things that makes this library so special. It's what brings our community together. It's a place to find knowledge. It's a sanctuary. It's a place to study. It's a place to meet. And we finally have it back. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful library. So let's give all the people who did work here a round of applause. Specifically want to thank my predecessor who sent me a message before, Pat Harris, who set the stage for us to get the financing for this and to get this passed. He did a ton of work. Unfortunately, because of a family issue, he was not able to make it here today, but he deserves our credit, and let's give him a little round of applause, even though he's not speaking. So let's continue on with the program. It's my honor to introduce our mayor, who's been a huge supporter of this library and of libraries in general. He's part of the reason why on opening day in our budget last year, we were able to put in $500,000 for collection on opening day for both here and for Sunray. And so a lot of those new books are the result of that budget, which are the result of the values that we have at the City of St. Paul. So it's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Chris Coleman.
You know, Chris you noticed he kind of hesitated as to whether it was his honor to introduce me or just his duty. But either way, I'm glad that he did, and I am very glad that I'm here. This is really wonderful, and I want to thank Chris as head of the library board and his predecessor, Pat Harris, as Chris mentioned. There must be something about the fact that Highland Library is the largest circulation in the entire system that leads the Ward 3 council member to be the ultimate champion of the library system, to make sure that we have adequate financing, to make sure that we have the latest and greatest in technology, to make sure that we have great spaces and renovation of great spaces. And so thank you for your efforts. Thank you for Pat Harris's efforts prior to that. But I think it's really just a community value. Things change so quickly around here. Just think only a few short years ago, the Ford site had thousands of people working on it. Now we're looking towards the future, what the revisioning of the Ford site is. Many of you were probably at the meeting last week that we had over at St. Catharines. Across the city of St. Paul, things are changing. Light rail lines are going in, new stadiums are going in downtown. But there is something kind of just essential about the city of St. Paul value system that says that libraries will be the anchoring institutions of our neighborhood. And so last week when we were over at Sunray, opening up that library in a community that hasn't seen as much investment as they'd like to see, to have that gift back to the community to say we're going to have the latest and greatest in a library in our neighborhood that will serve all the immigrant communities that are currently in the city of St. Paul, just as libraries have always done, serving immigrant communities. They may be coming from different places. As I mentioned last week, when the Sunray Library was first built, it opened in 1970. That was 4 or 5 or 6 years before the first Hmong immigrant came to the city of St. Paul, and decades before a large wave of Somali immigrants or immigrants from Burma that were coming to the city of St. Paul. It is a changing nature of the city, but as always, at the heart of the city is the library, because it is where new immigrants come. It is where the burly construction worker looking for a job. Although Chris had two-finger typing for the you notice the I think they can type. Everybody can type now. Whether it's the worker that's looking for a job, the parent that is trying to help their child read, whether it is in English as a first language or English as a second language, whether it is a group of teens that are coming here to take advantage of Create Tech where they can have a maker's experience, the kind of flexible meeting space that can occur in this library, all the things that we have added, the value that we have added to this library will make it what was already the largest circulation in the entire system of the city of St. Paul and turn it into an even greater, even bigger hub, not only for this neighborhood, but for across the city of St. Paul. I want to just personal thanks to Kit Hadley, because Kit she doesn't brag on herself. She doesn't. She should though. She has just been an exceptional director of our libraries, understanding that how libraries are evolving, not going away in terms of need. I was just talking with someone that said, it's a shame that bookstores are going, but even though bookstores, it's harder and harder to find an independent bookstore, libraries keep on getting better and bigger in the city of St. Paul. And that's really part of Kit's value and Kit's vision, because she understands the evolving nature of the library, even though at its essence it's still about books, it's still about reading, but it has to be about so much more. So the 2 million visitors that come in every year into our library system, the 1.5 million visitors that access our website online, the kids that are using it for homework help, the kids that are learning English as a second language, all of those things that occur in this make our library so special. But when our libraries are special, our city is special. It is about partnership. It is about everybody that has come together to make this possible. We're going to hear in just a minute from Robin Hanson from the Friends of the Library and the incredible partnership that they've had. We've had great community support. We've had great nonprofit support. But ultimately, they are just simply listening to the voices of the residents of the city of St. Paul saying, libraries matter. Libraries are at our core, and we have to continue to support them. And what's really great about it is it doesn't just stop there. It's about all the folks that can think about other things to do and other partnerships and other ways that we can pair with our schools and community groups and after-school programs and all the things that can occur there. And one of the great partners between Highland and the Highland Library and the school system is with Horace Mann. And we're blessed at this time, and it is my honor, to introduce Colleen Friedland, who's a 5th grade teacher at Horace Mann, who is part of the great partnership that occurs here at Highland Library. So thank you so much. Colleen?
Good afternoon, Mayor Coleman, former student council member Chris Tolbert, and friends of the library. Growing up in St. Paul, Rice Street Branch Library was my sanctuary. My mom instilled the love of math and reading in my life. My family would take the bus down to the Rice Street Library, and we'd go for story time or activities that they provided. A special treat for us was riding the downtown bus to go to the main library and seeing that full room full of children's books. Now, as a teacher at Horace Mann Elementary, St. Paul Public School, I want to instill that same sense of belonging to the library. Our students, our families, and staff have been waiting for this reopening to again connect to this community. We have used the library in a number of different ways in the past years. Monthly visits always included a presentation from the librarian, Erin, related to a genre that we requested. She would make sure there was a book of cards ready for our children to check out and take home that day. And as part of the presentation, she included upcoming Highland Community Center activities that would be announced, and the students could come back and enjoy the library and the community center after school and on the weekends. And they did. We would hear about the groups that would come and do homework and generally just hang out together at the library. A couple of years ago, our Lego robotics team, with their teacher and coach, Debbie Thompson, used this community center to help senior citizens learn about new technologies, like iPads and phones and computers. This opportunity not only helped our students, but it helped all people of all ages in this community. We have attended several performances of the Minnesota Jewish Theater Company in the Hillcrest Center Theater and are looking forward to seeing the Hanukkah guest there this December. Last spring, we used the the Hillcrest Community Center as our meeting place to stencil drains for the Friends of the Mississippi River. Our fifth graders, with my teaching partner, Alyssa Tarnofsky, are looking forward to walking over in the next couple weeks. The library staff, under the direction of Highland manager Sheila and Kathy, are already arranged a tour for us and the opportunity for the kids to check out their books. The staff also requested information from the students who need to get a library card, so they'll be ready for that on their first visit. As a teacher, coming to the Highland Library brings so many new experiences for students. The eagerness of the students to share their books will instill a lifelong love of reading. I'm thrilled to see so many family, friends, including Robin and Debbie, colleagues, along with former students and current students here at this reopening today. Now I'd like to introduce Robin Hansen, a board member for the Friends of the St. Paul Public Library.
Thank you. As Colleen said, I'm Robin Hansen. I'm a member of the board of the Friends, and I am a last-minute replacement for Peter Pearson, who is so sorry that he can't be here today. He had some surgery the other day and apparently has got an appearance that he thinks would frighten everyone. So I kind of black eyes and whatever, but I said I was sure you'd love to see him, and he said he did not want to be seen, but he sends you his greetings. Because I'm a last-minute replacement, I picked up this stress ball saying, well, maybe this will help, but it's misnamed because now I'm full of stress wondering what I'm going to do with it while I talk to you, but we'll see if I can handle that. I am a lifelong St. Paul resident. My library growing up was Sunray. My library now is Rondo, but this is the library for my 92-year-old father who lives in this neighborhood right across the street from Ted. And as a resident of St. Paul all my life, it is just thrilling for me as a Friends board member to tell you about the partnership that the Friends have had with the city that has helped to get this library built. The complete renovation of this library, as well as the Sunray Library and some modifications to the downtown Central Library, was done at a cost of $14.8 million. Now, if we had waited for the city to gather resources to pay that total price tag, it would have taken a number of years, and we knew that this, I have to put this away, neighborhood and the Sunray neighborhood couldn't wait that long. The library needed to be renovated, so the Friends stepped in with the city, and we said, we will raise $7.8 million of that, as long as the city pays $7 million. So that's a little bit more than half of the cost of renovating these libraries. The Friends Board and the rest of the community, the Friends have raised $6 million to date. Now, I know my new friend Colleen, we're getting to the important part here, because my new friend Colleen, who said her mother instilled in her a love of math, is saying, you said you were going to raise $7.8 million. There's a gap. And we understand that, but in order to get this library open in a timely way, the Friends and the city partnered again with the city coming in and saying, we're going to make a loan to the project. We trust you that you will raise the rest of the money you said you'd raise, so let's get this thing built. Let's open it. We've loaned the money to the project, and you can pay us back when you raise it. So I'm here to say, if there's anyone out there who is interested in helping us fill this gap and pay off the city, we've got pledge cards. I think most of you received them as you came in, but any gift helps. But for gifts of $1,000 or more, which can be paid over an up to 5-year term, you can get your name on that beautiful donor wall, which we can actually see from here. As you came up the steps, you saw that donor wall. And the nice thing is, some of you might be thinking, well, the donor wall's finished, I didn't get my name on it. That donor wall is built in a way that can be changed every quarter. So if your name's not on there right now, it could be on there very soon. So don't let that dismay you. But as I said, gifts of any size count. If you did not get a pledge sheet, get one from me, get one from the front table, or from any Friends staffer. There are also naming opportunities here for gifts starting at $25,000. Lots of opportunities for you to help us make this library an important part of this community. With that, I just want to end the program by thanking you so much for being here, thanking you for all the support you've given so far, and just saying, please, go enjoy your library. Thank you. Thank you.